Welcome to the third edition of the Schmidt Storm. I'm here to answer your questions. Let's get started. The question is, where does my small dollar donation do the most good? This is a great question and a really important one because I worry about this all the time, about so many people that are getting ripped off by the grifters and by the fraudsters. So the place for you to donate money to is directly to the Kamala Harris campaign for president of the United States. Now, ethics are something that's really important. During the Lincoln Project, not as it exists today, but the Lincoln Project of 2020, the Lincoln Project that existed that President Biden saw. He called me after the election in 2020 and thanked me. He said, if not for the Lincoln Project, he wouldn't have won. And I think he's right, because that organization did $3.2 billion of advertising impact off of almost $100 million spent. Today, that group is a fraud. It's a grift. 3 cents out of every dollar donated goes to political spending. Total scam. The truth is, 80 cents is the magic number in a political campaign. 80 cents of every dollar should go to voter contact. That's what the Lincoln Project in 2020 did. Doesn't do it anymore. And that's not because of anything else other than the lack of character of the people running it today. Talking to you, Rick Wilson, super grifter. Here's a guy who had a fake movie that he raised money for years, saying, donate to me, I'll make an anti-Trump movie. I asked him about it all the time. Where's the movie, Rick? Where's the movie? You took the money, you have to make the movie. There was never any movie. It's all a scam. And that cynicism, the product of all of this bullshit, helps exactly one person. And that guy's name is Donald Trump. So this is a big issue, and that's a great question. The question is, this Democratic convention was incredible. How can Kamala Harris keep the momentum going? So let's talk about political physics. I'm going to show you something on the screen. This arc is called a parabola. And this specific parabola is the historic launch of Alan Shepard's spaceflight. He was shot up into the air. He hit zero gravity for a moment and then started to come back down. Kamala Harris is on a similar rocket ship. She's gone straight up. She's in that zero gravity phase. She'll go a bit higher. And then the political physics of all of this, she'll start to come back down. The race will tighten. All of the gains during this historic convention week will be cut in half within a week after Labor Day. And then structurally, this will be a 3-point race all the way to the end. This will be a close election. Every vote counts. Some polls will have the vice president 6 points, 7 points, 8 points ahead. That is all a function of the momentum, the enthusiasm, the sudden excellence of the execution after being surrounded by Trump and being defeated by him, which Biden most certainly was. All of this unleashed enthusiasm will fall back to earth a bit, and then the fight is on. And that fight takes place on the line of scrimmage. It is a scratching, clawing, bare knuckle brawl all the way to the end. For sure, she will not win by 7 points. The last presidential elections in this country have been settled across a few states and tens of thousands of votes. I pray for a landslide, but that's not what's at hand. Not this election, not this moment in time. The question is, with all of the attention on Kamala Harris, what will Donald Trump do? This is the most important question that I could conceivably get, because it goes to the heart of the strategy necessary to defeat Trump and take back America from MAGA forever. Here's the deal. Whomever this election is about is the candidate who will lose. The election had been about President Biden, and he was losing. Since Kamala Harris has been the candidate, the election, again, is about Trump. and he's losing. What happened at the convention was one of the great switcheroos of all time. Suddenly, the race went from being about the 81-year-old enfeebled, declining president and a referendum on that to it being a referendum about the insanity of Donald Trump in an instant. Out of this convention, the race is now fully about Trump, and whomever the race is about will lose. That's why that matters so very much. And that's why this week was such a profound political success. And in my view, the greatest political convention of the electronic age, of the modern era, which goes back at least to 1952. It was an extraordinary, successful event. The question is, what would I advise Kamala Harris to do to avoid a Biden-style catastrophe? And the answer is simple. There will be no Biden-style catastrophe because Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, 59 years of age, is at her peak and she is on her A game. What I wish she would say is, look at Donald Trump, throw back the head, deliver the Kamala laugh, and ask a question on behalf of many tens of millions of America's people. What the hell is wrong with you? To Trump. That's what she should say. She should start out the debate, look at him and say, what's wrong with you, Donald? Why are you so angry, so dishonest, and so completely crazy? It would be classic. Remember, debates are performative moments. And one of the great lines in any debate was this line from Lloyd Benson to Dan Quayle.
I have far more experience than many others that sought the office of vice president of this country. I have as much experience in the Congress as Jack Kennedy did when he sought the presidency.
I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
The vice president should figure out the equivalent of this to Trump. I'm suspecting it has something to do with one of his bankruptcies. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.